The fells have a way of teaching us patience, whether we ask for it or not. Hello, magical ones. It's been a long time, longer than I ever intended, since we sat together in this space. Sometimes the wintering we speak of isn't a choice, it's a necessity. I've had to step back and tend to my own hearth, navigating some health challenges and the heavy weight of life's other commitments. In the world of folk magic, we talk a lot about the flow of the stream, but we often forget that even the linnet where I live has moments where it must pull deep and still before it can rush forward again. I've been in that deep pool, healing, listening and quietly crafting in the shadows of this garden room. But as the wheels turn towards May, and here we are, first week, the stillness is breaking. For months I've been telling you about the labour of love, a project that has kept my hands busy when my spirits were tired, and I wanted to create something that captured the raw green heartbeat of this Cumbrian valley. The resilience of the old ways and the stubborn strength of returning spring. He has been waiting in the quiet, leafing out in the corners of my mind, and today finally he's ready to meet you. This is my green man, designed, birthed and finished right here between the shelf and the fells. He is the Jack in the Green, the foliage man, witness to the ancestors and the guardian of the rising sap. To me, he represents the fact that no matter how long the frost lasts or how heavy the burden we carry, the green fire always returns. He is the spirit of the becoming, of breaking through the soil when the world thinks you are dormant. Stay with me till after. I've got a lovely spell as we stand on this threshold of May, a month of fire and flower. I want to share a piece of that green magic with you. A simple spell, a becoming, designed to help you harness the explosive energy of this month and the season, and to move past your own periods of stillness. But for now, here I have the long-awaited green man. Ta-da! See you after. Deep within the shadows of ancient cathedrals and hidden in the wood grain of century-old pubs, a silent face watches the world go by. Covered in vines and sprouting leaves from his mouth, the green man is one of history's most enduring enigmas. He is a ghost of the old world that refuses to die, a pagan symbol that took up residence in the heart of Christendom, and a haunting reminder of our primal connection to the earth. Though he has no official scripture or forgotten kingdom, his face is carved in the very bones of Western architecture, representing the eternal, unstoppable cycle of death and rebirth. To look upon the green man is to look into the wild, untamed eyes of nature itself. The green man is one of history's most resilient architectural mysteries. While the image feels ancient, the name is surprisingly modern. It was coined in 1939 by Lady Raglan, who linked disparate stone carvings under a single mythological banner. Historically, the foliate head emerged in the Roman Empire around the 2nd century, appearing on tombs and mosaics. As Christianity spread across Europe, these faces didn't disappear. They moved into cathedrals. Between the 11th and 15th century, thousands of these faces were carved into church corbels, baptismal fonts and roof bosses. Art historians divided them into 3 primary forms: the foliate head, a face made of leaves; the disgorging head, vegetation spewing from the mouth; and the bloodsucker head, vines crawling from the eyes and ears. Despite their presence in sacred Christian spaces, their exact purpose remains debated, ranging from a warning against the sins of the flesh to a silent tribute to the untamed power of the natural world. In folklore, the green man is the personification of the quickening, the sudden violent rush of life that returns to the earth every spring. He represents the eternal cycle of birth, death and renewal. Unlike many deities, he is rarely depicted as a soft or gentle figure. His stone expressions are often grim or strained, symbolising the struggle of life breaking through the frozen earth. He is frequently linked to a family of nature spirits and legendary figures. Jack in the Green, a towering pyramid of greenery traditionally worn by chimney sweeps in May Day parades. The Wild Man of the Woods, a medieval figure representing the primitive, uncivilized side of humanity. The Holy King and the Oak King, twin archetypes from Celtic-inspired myth who battle for control of the seasons at the solstices. The core of his lore is interconnectedness. He is the bridge between human and the botanical, a reminder that humanity is not separate from the environment, but an extension of it. Today, the Green Man has undergone a massive cultural renaissance, evolving from an obscure architectural detail into a global symbol of the environmental movement. To modern eyes, he represents Gaia, hypotheses, the idea of Earth as a single living organism. He has become a staple of modern neo-paganism and Wicca, serving as a masculine architect of fertility and ecological stewardship. His image is ubiquitous in 21st century, appearing in festivals, large-scale events like the Beltane Fire Festival in Edinburgh and various Jack in the Green revivals across the UK. In media, his influence is seen in characters like the Marvel's Groot, the Ents of the Lord of the Rings and the old gods of the Game of Thrones. His identity is a popular subject for tattoos, the artisan crafts, signalling a rejection of the digital and a return to the Green Man. In an era of climate anxiety, the Green Man serves as a powerful icon of hope and resilience, reminding us that even when paved over by stone and concrete, nature will eventually find a way to reclaim its place. The folklore of the Green Man isn't found in books of spells, but in the old ways of the countryside, the whispered traditions of the cunning folk, and the practical magic of those who lived by the seasons. To these practitioners, the Green Man wasn't a distant god, he was the genuus loci, the spirit of the place, the cunning man's green language. For the village cunning man or wise woman, the Green Man represents the sentience of the plant kingdom. They believed in a green language, the idea that plants and spirits that could be bargained with. Folk magic often relied on the belief that a plant's physical appearance, its face, revealed its healing properties. The Green Man was the ultimate expression of this. He was the human plant, the bridge that allowed a healer to communicate with the spirits of the woods to find cures. Before harvesting herbs from a charm, cunning folk would often leave an offering, a coin, a bit of bread or a hair at the root of a tree. This was payment to the man of the woods to ensure the medicine kept its virtue or magical potency. The folklore of the Green Man is deeply tied to the May Day, Beltane, and the custom of the Jack in the Green. This was a man encased in a massive 6-foot wicker frame covered in ivy and hawthorn. The Jack was seen as a walking totem of fertility. It was considered extremely lucky to pluck a leaf from the Jack as he passed, as these leaves were kept as protective charms to guard a home against blasting, bad luck or crop failure for the rest of the year. At the end of the festival, Jack was often slain or stripped of his leaves. This ritualistic death ensured that the spirit of the growth was released into the community, spreading the green man's vitality to the local fields and livestock. In folk magic, the green man is a liminal figure. He exists on the threshold between civilized worlds, the village, and the chaotic world, the deep forest. Because he represented the wild, his image was often used in folk magic as a distraction or a guardian. Placing a foliate face near a door or chimney was thought to prevent malevolent spirits from entering. They would see a face that was part spirit, part earth, and recognise it was a boundary they could not cross. In British folklore, the green man is often conflated with Puck or Robin Goodfellow. These were hobgoblins, tricky earth spirits who could help with farm work if treated well, or sour the milk and lead travellers into bogs if offended. They represented the unpredictable magic of the green man. Nature is generous, but it is never under human control. The knowledge of the green man in folk magic is ultimately about sympathy. The cunning folk understood that whatever happens to the forest happens to humanity. There was a common folk belief that sap was the blood of the earth. Magic involving bleeding trees like the rowan or elder was handled with extreme caution. The green man with vines growing from his veins was the visual proof of this biological and magical unity. To wound the green was to wound the man. The green man's journey from a stone whisper in a medieval church to a vibrant symbol of our age has been secured not by dogma but by the hands of artists and crafters. For the green man to survive, he must be made, reinvented in the materials of each generation. In the 19th and 20th century, this was seen in stone and wood carvings of the arts and craft movement, which rejected industrial sterile design in favour of organic texture and nature-inspired motifs. But the modern craft revival has taken this step further. We are seeing a tactile renaissance, where the green man isn't just a static carved face, but a breathing tapestry of texture. Modern makers are using the ancient arts of textiles, felting and paper making to capture something that stone never could, the softness, the vulnerability and the living texture of the forest floor. These materials are inherently regenerative. Wool and paper are biodegradable, aligning the medium with the message of sustainability. Cyclical life. In the hands of a mixed media artist, the green man becomes an assemblage, a composite being. He is not just the spirit of the woods, he is the woods, reconstructed piece by piece through humanity ingenuity. This process of creating him from disparate parts, felting his face, embroidering his leaves, layering his context, is itself a ritual, a sacred act of remaking our relationship with the wild. So where does that leave us today? How do we, in this digital age, keep this ancient leafy conversation alive? For me, the answer is hands-on. I wanted to move beyond the stone and create a green man that feels as soft, as complex, and as alive as the forest floor. This is my interpretation. This isn't just an artwork, it's a tapestry of texture and technique, built layer by layer to represent the facets of the Green Man's history and folklore we've just discussed. His actual face, those knowing ancient eyes, were born of wool. I used wet felting to create a soft structured base for his features, and then needle felting to sculpture his expression, giving him a felted beard and eyebrows that are wispy and long as new moss. His massive headdress is a composite. It includes hand-embroidered leaves for intricate detail, contrasted against the crisp edges of machine-embroidered leaves. To show the disgorging or the bloodsucker aspect of his folklore, I use free motion embroidery. This technique allows me to literally draw with the sewing machine, stitching intricate vine patterns across a variety of papers that make up his surroundings, giving the entire piece a textured, layered quality that feels both ancient and newly blooming. This creation, with its thousands of stitches and felted fibres, is my personal act of the quickening, a handmade offering to ensure that in my world, at least, the Green Man never stops growing. He is more than just a relic of the past. He is a living mirror. Whether carved into stone of a cathedral or felted from the warmth of wool and thread, he exists to remind us that we are part of a story much larger than ourselves. He is the spirit of the woods, the guardian of the soil, and the breath of every new leaf that breaks through the winter frost. In a world that often feels disconnected and paved over, he calls us back to the tactile, the organic and the wild. He tells us that growth is often a struggle, that beauty is found in the tangles, and that cycle of rebirth is the only true constant. Next time you find yourself in a quiet corner of the woods, or even just walking a city street, keep your eyes open. Look for the face in the foliage, look for the green in the cracks, and perhaps in your own way find a way to keep this tradition growing, because as long as we continue to tell the story, and as long as our hands continue to craft his image, the Green Man will never truly leave us. So here we are. So what I suggest is that you find your centre, feel the earth beneath your feet and the stream in your blood. Cleanse how you would usually do. I'm going to use my cleansing stick, the big one, and this is lavender and white sage. I've not used this for a while, so I'm not sure how it's going to light. I'm just going to let that go. I've also got an incense stick which I'm going to get lit now and just add. It's gone out now. Let it burn for a second or two. There we go. Just carry on with this. It's been a while since I've even been out here with my spellcraft. I have done a few off camera, obviously. As I've said previously, what I do on camera is just for kind of a demonstration, and I give you ideas. You'll obviously build up your own repertoire, your favourite herbs and things. So what I've got here is some salt and some rosemary for protection. As I say, this is my white sage and lavender. Just going to move, that's just really for me to sit it in. I've got some more rosemary there, which is what I used, and I've got some white clove, and I've got some aura spray, which I will also set out. It really doesn't want to work, does it? There we go. So I'm just cleansing my space, my hands. Just blowing on the cleansing stick. I just want to make sure the area. I'm just going to put that there. And always with the aura spray, it's just some 4 corners of your room. I love the smell of these. And I like more. This particular one is Make Me Shine. So I'm going to take out some of my white. These were harvested last year from my garden. I have an abundance of clover growing. These are the white clover, but I've also got red. So I'm just taking out some of those, and I'm going to hold that in my hand. Going to light my candle. I'm just going to sit with my hands around and just calm myself. I'm using a green candle because it kind of represents the spring. You could use a pink one as well. I love the colour pink. I am so happy with all the plants that are growing now, and my hanging baskets around. They look beautiful as I sit here. So, as I said, I'm using white clover. I'm using dried, as fresh clover isn't yet available. It grows in abundance here, and it is really good for protection, prosperity. If you're new to the craft, I am setting up a new series where I go through each herb, what its properties are, what its correspondences are, and also how to use it. So there'll be a sort of a mini demonstration of a spell for each of the herbs I use. So if you're sitting comfortably, you've got yourself ready, I'm going to say a little incantation. It's only a small one, and I'll make it available. I'll put a link on where you can download it for yourself if you want to recreate this. So when comfortable, say, by the bud and by the leaf I release winter's grief. By the sap and by the spray I welcome in the light of May. What was hidden shall now rise beneath the vast and changing skies. Strength of root and fire of sun, the quickening has now begun. As the green man wakes the wood, I claim my space and call it good. With heart of gold and shield of green, I step into the bright unseen. And I'm just going to lay my clothes either side of my spell candle, and I'm going to let that burn down in quiet contemplation. Thank you for waiting for me. Thank you for being part of this meadow. The stream is flowing again. The green man is awake, and I'm so glad to be back. Let's make some magic. Bye.